Hey, it's Mike. What I'm going to do today on this video is I'm going to make a fence coming off the end of this miter saw. It's going to come about 36 inches out, 32, 36, and it's going to be about 4.5 inches wide. I'm going to put a fence across the top with some stock that I had, and we'll get to that right now. Okay, I have some scrap here that I found in my wood bin, and what we're going to do is I'm going to make the first cut at 2 15/16. That's going to be the part underneath the top to get me up to the proper height. Okay, here we go. Okay, the next piece I need is the top piece. We're going to make that 6.5. I have to have the back a little wider to have the fence sit on it. Okay, let's make that cut. Alright, now we'll head over to the workbench and we'll put that part together. Alright, what we'll do now is we'll put some glue on this bottom part, which is the support. And we'll get a rag. Let's give this a whirl. Okay, I think we're good to go. Stick a few clamps on it. Okay, put a couple clamps on. We'll come back to that in about 10 minutes. Okay, I got another piece of scrap, and we're going to cut 2 5.5-inch pieces, actually 3, and we're going to use them as supports for underneath that fence. Here we go. Okay, we got our 3 supports. Now I'm going to put some pocket holes in these. I'm going to put 2 in each one. Let's go. Okay, our piece is still gluing up. The supports that go underneath here, we're going to put in a pocket hole on one side and one on the opposite side, and we'll go from there. Here we go. Okay, the next step, we're going to take the clamps off, and we're going to run a sander over this. Okay, let's take it over to the bench by the saw. Here we go. Okay, I got it over here, and what I'm going to do is reach one of these countersunk holes are for a drywall screw. I'm going to put a line up from this real light on the top, and I'm going to transfer it along the top a little bit, real light. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these blocks and I'm going to eyeball the line to the front. Well, first I'm going to put it where it would go. And we'll put it okay, let's measure to the front. 1 1/4, 1 1/4. Draw a line down here. Now I'm going to take this off. Straighten these out of here. The object of doing this is so everything is screwed and none of it's permanent, glued or anything. We can just take it, undo it, go on our way. We'll do that so on down the line. Okay, now that we have all three on, what we're going to do is we're going to take this, line it up to where it's going to go. Everything looks good and smooth. Okay, I'm going to take some 1 1/4 drywall screws and we're going to attach them where those supports are at the bottom. And that should be plenty to hold that. Okay, now the next step. Okay, now I have this fence material. This is something I made in the past, but I'm going to reuse it. So what it is it's a piece. It's a piece that's 2 1/8 by 1 5/8, and it's solid oak, and it's something that I had from the past on a different setup like this years ago. And what I did is I just made a little rabbet in the bottom here so that when it's sitting on the surface, sawdust doesn't build up along the fence and it can be under here just kind of brushed out of the way for an accurate cut. And then I made a 1/2 inch dado in the top to accept a tape measure, a stick-on tape measure. And this is wide enough and beefy enough so that the stop that I also bought years ago will fit over the top of this and it can slide back and forth. So what we're going to do now is we're going to line up this piece of fence and we're going to line it up to our miter saw. So let's get that done right now. Okay, what I did is I put a clamp right here on this aluminum square that I know is perfectly straight, and I clamped it to the fence of the miter saw, and now I'm going to clamp to the straight edge. And we're going to put our first screw in right now. That looks pretty darn good to me. Okay, I had this piece of tape measure. It was sticky back, but it was used a while ago, so it's not very sticky. But we'll fix that. So I laid it in the dado from the blade to 15 inches where this one starts. So we're going to have to go off that scale. So we're going to have to take a piece of scrap like this, and we're going to have to mark 15 inches. And we're going to have to figure out where we wind up here to this tape. All right, here we go. Okay. We're exactly 15 inches. We're going to take our stop block. Okay, we're at the 15 with the tape. 15 here. Good to go. All right, let's put some stick on the back of this. Okay, we're going to spray some 3M 200 tack. Okay, here we go. All right, let's go stick her down. And there you have it. Let me give you a closer look. Okay, there we go. Got the stop block. We're set to the fence. And that turned out pretty sweet, actually, just for scraps. All right. Okay, and that's today's video episode of making a fence for your miter saw. Don't forget to do this. Subscribe. Thank you very much. You guys are awesome. Have a great day.